Hi, and welcome to ET Final Score Weekly. I'm Chris Parry with Travis Yoesting. Travis, we got a lot to get going with here. Let's talk about the John Tyler girls basketball team. Was in action last night in the regional quarterfinals, and how did things turn out?
They're playing Mesquite Horn and Eustis. Mesquite Horn had won District 11 6A. John Tyler, finished tied for third in the district. Had lost twice to Horn already, but they were able to kind of get ahead early and just kind of dominate the game. They ended up winning 65-50 to win, advance to the regional tournament for the first time since 2004. And this John Tyler team is on a roll right now. They've played and beaten four straight teams that have beaten them already this year. So, it'll be a new challenge this time. They play Spring Decaney, ranked number 5 in the state. Going to be a tough challenge for them. But they'll be playing in Davis Fieldhouse, the same venue where they won the Dallas ISD tournament in December. Okay,
so at least some of that familiarity. You've been covering this team all year. I mean, does this surprise you?
Well, at the start of the year, they had some injuries. They weren't fully healthy. We're still acclimating to a new coach. Carlessa Dixon came in for Mike Smith. And then around, December, they started getting on a roll. They had a 10-game winning streak. It seemed like they were doing everything that everyone expected them to be with all the talent they have. But then they kind of hit a roadblock, lost to Horn, lost to Lee, lost a couple more times, Rockwall and Heath. Things kind of snowballed. But then right around the end of district, they started picking things up. They kind of rediscovered their form, and they're doing, they're playing like they expected to play all year.
Gotcha. I mean, they're an experienced team. They're in the postseason. This is finally the time, regardless of how you get into the postseason. Now they're doing what they've wanted to do all along in the playoffs. I'm sure Coach Dixon will take it.
Exactly.
That was one of many playoff games happened last night. I was actually at two boys playoff games, a doubleheader. The first one was Troops had a great season. The Troop guys, the first time they've been in the playoffs in a while, they kind of ran into a little bit of a buzzsaw on Elysian Fields. They got out ahead of them, took the lead, and they just would never let them catch up. It was one of those situations where they were playing catch up the whole game and never could catch them. The second game was interesting. Chapel Hill and Henderson, thank you. Back and forth game the whole time. And honestly, there were times when I thought Henderson was going to run away with it. And then there were times I thought Chapel Hill was going to run away with it. It came down to free throws, which that's usually what happens in the playoffs. Chapel Hill made theirs, Henderson didn't, and Chapel Hill's moving on in the playoffs. Talk to me now about the All Saints Trojans, because they are still moving on in the playoffs.
Mm-hmm. All Saints, they're moving on to the TAP State 5A tournament. They won Saturday in Lorena over a team from Austin just to make it to the Final Four. It's the third time in 4 years, actually, that they've been to the Final Four. Sean Phillips, their leading scorer, averages about 21 a game. And he's actually been on all 3 of those state-bound teams. This team's a little different. Last couple years, they had a lot of players that had been together for many years. Aston Francis was the leader of that team. This team, they're maybe a little more underrated, under the radar, but I wouldn't count them out. They play Frisco Legacy Christian at 1 p.m. on Thursday in Abilene, and I wouldn't count them out to make it to the finals.
They're both very similar to the John Tyler girls because we almost didn't see this coming. I mean, we knew JT was going to be good. I don't know we thought JT was going to be this good. And we definitely didn't think All Saints boys were going to be this good because they'd lost so much talent to graduation the last couple of years.
Yeah, they have really kind of come along in the district. They lost one district game to Gorman, and that, talking to the players, that kind of galvanized them. They kind of got together. They won the playoff seeding game against Gorman to get that number 1 seed, get the bye in the playoffs. And that helped them out. Then they beat Brook Hill in the playoffs, another district rival. And they've been kind of on a roll. They've been finally healthy. They've had a lot of injuries. So, finally being healthy, I think, is helping them a lot. And they're playing their best basketball right now.
Cool. We move from basketball to the Diamond. The baseball season starts this week. Both John Tyler and Robert E. Lee are going to be in action in their season opener. Robert E. Lee baseball is going to be playing in the Rose City Classic at Mike Carter Field. So many teams are going to be involved in this thing, Travis. I mean, I've got the list right here. You got Waxahachie, Hallsville, Sulphur Springs, Nacogdoches, Forney, Lindale. It's going to be 3 days of baseball action. I'm looking forward to it. And just, I'm hoping that the two of us can maybe get out there and see a couple baseball games. The thing starts at 9 a.m. between Lee and Nacogdoches, and then of course Lee and Waxahachie play at 7 p.m. on Thursday as well. three big days of baseball action and plenty of basketball. Are you headed? I mean, how excited are you going to the regional tournament for John Tyler Lady Lions?
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun heading over to Dallas, check out the Dallas ISD gym, and see if JT can advance.
Sounds good. Sounds good. Well, that's it for today. For this week, Travis and Chris. We look forward to seeing you next week on ET Final Score Weekly.